and tried to stop the certification of the vote.
Really? What did they do for Gore?
Every
What did they do
time.
for Gore?
And they'll likely do the exact same thing. When Trump wins in 2024, they'll likely do the exact same thing, just like Raskin has already said. The Democrats are already plotting not to certify the 2024 election because they know Trump is going to win.
Yep.
It's fantastic delusion.
It's mainstream news. Anybody can pull it up on their phones right now. Jamie Raskin won't certify election results. Go ahead, plug it in. You got it right there, don't you? Yeah, it's right there.
We only have several minutes of the open.
Do you think Gogeta or Vegito would win in a fight? It's frustrating. I guess the saddest thing is that as much as I can't stand conservatives because I'm a liberal/progressive, at the very least, I felt like we were all kind of in the same boat. We were all kind of like the same country, and we were all presenting at least a unified front to the rest of the world. That as much as conservatives and Democrats might have hated each other, at least we were all Americans at the end of the day.
And when
right?
did that change?
When did that change? Well, a big change.
When Donald Trump became president of the United States.
Right, like nobody hates progressives. Like, you're a moron, dude. Like, he lives in such delusion. It's so crazy because he thinks everyone else lives in the delusion, but it's really him. He lives in his own mind. He's such a moron. He's like one of the only people that still is pouting about this January 6th, trying to call it an insurrection. Everybody with a brain knows it's not a damn insurrection. All you got to do is go look at the videos. The people were not there to overthrow the government. That's a disgusting Democrat lie that has propagated and basically divided the entire damn country.
And they lost their mind because they couldn't control him, they couldn't bully him, they couldn't get him to bow down to political correctness, and so this is them, stuttering and spamming all over the place like lunatics, trying to get Donald Trump killed, assaulting Trump supporters, and lost their minds. Why do you think Elon Musk left the Democrat Party? Why do you think Tulsi Gabbard left the Democrat Party? Why are so many Democrats like Vernon Jones leaving the Democrat Party? Because this is your Democrat voter right here. Nobody wants to be a part of this psychotic movement anymore.
Psychotic movement when you guys literally try.
He's exactly right, man. Political correctness, woke, CRT in schools, trans in these kids behind parents' backs. What the fuck are you guys doing? You have lost your mind. And like, there's these leftists in the country, like lifelong Democrats, who like they've never even heard of woke. They don't even know what woke is or political correctness. Still out here voting for Democrat, trying to cling to their beliefs. But the reality is, the regular average Democrat is like standing here in the middle. And the current Democrat Party is like way over here, far left, like almost fascist. And regular Democrats are standing like center left, going like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's exactly what's happening in our political system right now. The current Democratic Party is deliberately dividing this country. Deliberately. Like, they're on MSNBC and CNN, they are telling deliberate lies about Trump. Things that can't even possibly be true. Like, you can't even misconstrue it to think that it's true. The only way you would believe it is if you have no clue what's going on right now and you just hear it and take the CNN anchor at their word, when really it's a bold-faced lie about Donald Trump. And they've been doing this for 8 years now.
Trans
the Capitol.
Your side believes in trans kids.
Who wants to
Your
trans
side
kids?
wants to pay for trans surgeries in the prisons.
You guys
Your
don't even
side
acknowledge.
Most people are okay with it. Most people in your deranged little circle, you don't think it's a problem that 2 men won the women's boxing Olympics? Like, dude, these people are deranged and insane. And the problem here is they think they are the majority. Everybody like me or him that calls this, who are really just center left people, are now far right extremists. because they're so far.
Wars all over the world. Our side is the party of sanity and the party of common sense. And if you can't see that in this debate, then you're never going to see it.
You're never going to. The party of sanity is the party that doesn't
Swear
believe
to
in
God.
dinosaurs and thinks that we create hurricanes.
What are you talking?
This is the dumb says, man. He heard like one idiot on Facebook or YouTube or something deny that dinosaurs exist, and he thinks that all conservatives think dinosaurs didn't exist. This is the type of just idiocy you have to stand with if you rock with this cornball.
About?
Do you believe in dinosaurs? You think
What is
real?
this dinosaurs?
Wait,
what are you talking about dinosaurs?
Do you think the dinosaurs
do you
ever
play
roam
with
the earth?
dinosaur
Do you
toys?
think the
Why do you
dinosaurs
bring this up?
Do you think the dinosaurs
is that
ever
a
roam the
dinosaur
earth?
on your necklace right there? What
do you
is
ever
that?
think? Do you think the dinosaurs roam the earth?
I'm not here to talk about dinosaurs.
Right.
It's insanity.
Did you say if Trump wins or if Trump loses?
If he wins.
If he wins. Well, I think what happens is probably the same whether he wins or loses. I think what Trump has done is he's basically remade the Republican Party, and so you kind of have the old neocon establishment type that you no longer see at Republican events anymore. George Bush is not a popular Republican. Dick Cheney is not a popular Republican.
Right.
John McCain is not a popular Republican. Even Nikki Haley and Lindsey Graham get booed when they go to Trump rallies. So that's kind of the establishment right, if you will.
Yeah.
The Republican voter base and really the populism that is behind the Republican Party has now, behind Donald Trump specifically, I think has now taken it over. So I don't think that's going to change. I think future candidates are going to sound more like Donald Trump. They're going to sound more like Vivek Ramaswamy. I think the message is going to be smaller government, true conservatism. I think the message is going to be stop funding foreign wars, foreign aid. I think the message is going to be bring back
fiscal
manufacturing,
policy,
mostly common sense stuff. But I think that the thrust behind this populist movement is that we understand there's government corruption, we understand that there's mainstream media corruption, and we want a representative as our president, as our representatives in Congress who know that, who talk like us, who think like us, and aren't going to be afraid to say it out loud. So I think it's kind of a permanent reformation of the Republican Party post Donald Trump, whether he wins or loses this election.
But my question is geared mostly towards Schreier. You mentioned no foreign wars under Trump. In 2017, on Inauguration Day, I deployed and we dropped a record number of bombs in a single deployment on Syria until our record was beat by the Truman the year after that. What do you mean no foreign wars under Trump?
So are you referring to the airstrike on the airport strip?
No.
Which one are you referring to?
The fight against ISIS during Operation Inherent Resolve.
Okay, so I would say that was a war that he inherited. I would say he didn't start that war. I think it was an inherited war. Now, you can argue whether you think we did good in that or bad in that. We could sit here and argue about the Biden pullout of Afghanistan. I think these were wars that Trump inherited, the decisions he made to try to...
The most pathetic thing about that Biden pullout is like the country. I argued with a dude the other day who blamed Trump for the Afghanistan catastrophe because of the media misinformation. And what drives me crazy about this is the media who's putting out the misinformation and lies are blaming it on people like me and people like them, people on social media for putting out misinformation when they're the one lying to us. They're lying to us. Then we call out the lie. Then they try to say it's misinformation. It's absolute insanity, man. I realized today that I really think that they're trying to usher in fascism. There's no other reason why they would be doing what they're doing with the immigrants. And in order to have fascism, you can't have a separation of powers. That's the first thing that has to go in order to usher in fascism. Think about it. While they're trying to tell us that Trump is the enemy and Trump is the fascist and MAGA fascist and blah, 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 who's the one really censoring people? Who's the one really lying to the American people? Who's the one really that has MSNBC and CNN anchors who are absolutely delusional with TDS attacking the Republican Party for common sense things and defending the most insane, pathetic liberal nonsense? Like, who's really the fascist? Fascists have no policies. They're after power for power's sake. They don't care to actually make the country better. And like everything, if you go look into fascism, everything about fascism matches the current Democratic Party, not the Republican Party. The Republican Party is the exact opposite of fascism and socialism. They're really close, but like we went through one of these socialist revolutions in like the 30s through the 60s, and finally it ended up ending with, you know, World War II and the Nazis and all that. But so we demonized fascism and Nazism, but we didn't demonize socialism and communism like we should have. And now it's grew roots in our country, and we're probably headed for a socialist catastrophe, to be honest, because it's just already entrenched in people's brains that socialism is a good idea. Altruism, the idea of we're here on earth to benefit your neighbor, not yourself. You know, you're supposed to care more about helping other people than helping yourself, which if you live in a country like that, it's actually logically impossible, because the entire world operates off of self-interest, which liberals would call greed, but it's really self-interest. And it makes the entire economy and world and politics and everything we have function. There's so many problems with altruism, and it's caused so many problems in our society. But I really think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get it to where there's no separation of powers anymore. The Democrats run everything. And they already run all the institutions, all the media institutions, all big tech, all big oil. Like they already run all the huge institutions. The only thing they need to crush is the Republican Party and the MAGA movement and the America First movement. They need to crush the America First movement in order to usher in this democratic fascism that they're trying to do. That's my opinion.
End them, just like the decisions that Biden made to try to end them, you can debate. But he didn't start any new wars. So I think that's the distinction here. These were wars that were already ongoing for years and years. Past administrations, Obama, Bush, Republican, Democrat, didn't matter. So I wouldn't say that that was a started war. These were wars that he inherited. But I think that the general perspective to understand is that you didn't have the massive conflict in Ukraine, you didn't have the massive conflict in the Middle East, which we hope doesn't engulf us now, but they are now sending troops to both of those regions, and so I'd like to see that. I don't think there's enough being done by Trump either to stop these wars, to be honest. I'd like to see all these foreign wars stopped. I want to decouple from Israel. I want to decouple from the Middle East.
Me too.
I want to decouple from all of these foreign wars. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't even care if it makes us isolationists. We don't need the rest of the world. We can build everything we need here. We have enough energy here. I would decouple from all these foreign countries, internalize everything, and get out of all these wars to begin with.
But I disagree with total isolationism, because you do need, like, that's how cultures progress, is by, like, inheriting knowledge from other cultures. And so we do need to still, like, have immigration, but, like, legitimate immigration. We need to be bringing the best people here, the best engineers, the best scientists, the best physicists, like, not what we're doing now. What we're doing now is a recipe to destroy this country. There's no other way to look at it. Like, what are they doing? The real number is probably like 50 million. They were talking 15, 20 million 15, 20 years ago. I go to the damn grocery store and you see them, these immigrants with like 3 carts strutting around like damn roosters because they got, $900 on their food stamp card that month. It's truly the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. The shit that this Democratic Party is doing. It's absolutely outrageous. And you should be angry.
with.
The fact that there were
Otherwise-
no wars going on is ridiculous. Crimea was still invaded and held by Russia. The civil war in the Donbass that was being supported by Russia was
He's so dumb. He knows we're talking about America wars. Wars America was involved in.
the occupation of Crimea was 2014.
Obama.
Okay, was Trump not president when it was occupied? Exactly. And then the
cares?
civil
What-
war in the Donbass, where Russia continued to escalate by
We
sending
weren't
more
involved
troops
in that.
and more forces. Did that happen under Trump?
So this is hilarious.
Yeah,
They
exactly. So
say
it's a
Trump
pivot,
Russia
it's a pivot. And then also
collusion.
for the Middle
Can I
East.
answer? Are you
No,
going to
you
stutter
didn't
and
answer. You're not
babble?
gonna- no,
He's
you're
gonna
not
babble
gonna answer
again.
because
He's gonna
you're not
start
answering
babbling
the
like a
question.
baby.
That's why you're doing a ramble
they say
right now.
Trump
There
Russia
it is.
collusion.
Russia
did-
collusion. Holy shit, we got our
when did
joggers
Russia-
on today.
He just admitted
when
it.
it came to the Middle
He
East,
just admitted it.
there was
When
also
did-
still
oh
conflict
my
in the Middle East. You had Iran attacking Saudi Arabia for the first time ever. You had the entire border riots, Great March of Return, lasted for about a year in Israel. And you still had all the conflict in Syria. So the idea that there was no conflict in the Middle East is also delusional.
Okay, so again, the question was new wars. Russia invaded Ukraine when Obama was president. Russia invaded Ukraine again when Biden was president, not when Trump was president.
Destiny, you claimed that there was no money being given to foreign illegals for housing. They weren't buying houses. You're correct on that. But Christopher Rufo did a story. $3.8 billion from the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, was given to the state of Colorado, who in turn gave it to Boulder, Denver. They gave $5 million to resettle migrants. 350,000 of that a week was going out to migrants to pay for them in one apartment building.
Unbelievable.
This was the CBZ, owned by CBZ Management in Aurora. So this was the same building that was taken over by illegal gangs. I'm wondering how you can sit there and say that there's no American taxpayer money going to these people when they're there doing it and taking over our country, literally.
So you also said
because he's fried. The 50 years of progressives essentially dominating the political narrative of this country for the last 50 years has destroyed it. He can't see it. He's actually dumb. He's not just misinformed. He is dumb. And I don't like calling people dumb. I usually say most people are just misinformed or they don't know the real information.
they were spending the money resettling migrants. That doesn't sound like money spent on illegals. It sounds like money spent resettling migrants, which is not illegals. But if I take the strongest version of your question, I mean,
See how they're playing semantics, man? Migrants, illegals, aliens, they're all the same thing, and you know it.
for the United States in some capacity spends money on illegal immigrants. I know that we provide housing, we provide, I'm pretty sure, food stipends. I know there's like some card that these guys obsess over that asylum seekers get when they come in here, they're waiting for their court cases. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we spend money on illegals. I wish we had comprehensive immigration reform. I do think that spending money
Yeah, right.
on America
You don't
is
care.
important. And I think that's a good argument. I think that when you look and you see, okay, well, even if it wasn't 200 billion, Destiny, it was 20 billion. Why are we spending $20 billion in Ukraine when my neighborhood is fucking falling apart? Or, my
Pretty
city
much.
doesn't have the money to pay for these things that I think are important. I think these are good questions, okay? Democrats are not the ones that are trying to cut funding from schools and from cities and from infrastructure and from healthcare. When the fuck was the last time you heard a Republican say, we need to stop funding the war in Ukraine so that we can fund single-payer healthcare? We need to stop giving money
He's an idiot, man. Only Republicans saying that. Who's the last Democrat that said that?
to Israel so that we can do something about the homeless or the drug addicted or the mental illness in society. It's never like that. It's we need to stop funding here and then we need to cut as much spending domestically as possible so that the fucking free market is going to take care of your problems? What, is Bezos going to walk you to the fucking ER and pay?
No, man. The government, the free market, none of these things are. This is the liberal view that has broken this country. None of these things are meant to take care of your problems. They're meant to make society function. Your problems are your own. It's such insanity, man. They literally think they can engineer society into a utopia of, and just change things that have been this way for 230 years and it completely overnight and like it just won't have no effect. They're dumb, man. For the I swear to God, man, I am probably one of the last people. I'm 34 years old. I'm probably one of the last people to get a decent education. Decent. because I started noticing it. Like when I got to high school, it was like these liberal teachers were like teachers that it was like their way. If you questioned anything they said, they would like jump down your throat. Like, there was no dialogue anymore. Teacher-student dialogue. That's how people actually learn. If you can't question the person's idea that is spewing out of their mouth, if you can't even question it, and you think there might be some problems with it, and you can't even question it, how are you supposed to learn? That's why we got a bunch of, like, you know, fresh out of college kids who are supposed to be the brightest minds in our country, who are completely, like, intellectually bankrupt, completely gone in the head. They think America was, you know, built on the backs of black people. Despite the fact that, you know, we were only like 13 little colonies at this time. Only like 5 of them at the bottom actually had slavery, and this wasn't even our country yet. And all this happened over 230 years, where we actually built into a 50 states to where we had the whole country. They really, like, Charlemagne the God really asked Kamala Harris if she'd put together a reparations package, because he's such a damn idiot. He doesn't know anything about what I just said, about the fact that, you know, in his opinion, we kidnapped these black people from, you know, Africa or whatever, brought them over here and forced them to do our labor. Like, and it just was nothing like that at all. They have our whole that, like, in their opinion, the United States is evil, and all our institutions need to be torn down and rebuilt in the image of social justice or some other nonsense word that they made up. It's like the intellectual bankruptcy in our country that Ayn Rand, by the way, was talking about 50 years ago was a problem, has morphed into literally, we are a society of idiots.
Pay for your medical bill? Like, it's just insane. So I agree. I can understand. Like, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. The United States is a huge federal budget. We can pay for a lot of things. And I do think that sometimes our spending is a bit sad. But when you look at who's taking money away from spending on things like healthcare or childcare or any of the multitude of things that we need money spent on in this country, it's not Democrats, it's fucking Republicans. And the idea that cutting funding to some foreign war would all of a sudden open their hearts to domestic...
Like, he's wrong about everything he says. He's a contrarian. That's what this dude is, a contrarian. Everything you say, no matter how factual it is, he's going to say something contrary to it, whether it's fact or not. He's just that kind of fucking idiot.
Spending on welfare is ludicrous.
Actually, I'm a Republican, and I literally just said we should take money from foreign wars and spend it on America. So I literally just said that.
So you'd be for a public option over single-payer healthcare?
No, I didn't say that either.
Yeah, of course you didn't. Yeah.
No, we're not for free stuff, dude. Like, the founders of our country 230 years ago said that the most dangerous thing that could happen to this country was the citizens start viewing the government as a bank or as a system that's there to solve your problems. That's not what the government's there for. The government is essentially supposed to be a policeman. They're supposed to keep order. That's it. Keep the free market, keep order. They're not supposed to be subsidizing companies. They're not supposed to be subsidizing single moms. They're not supposed to be subsidizing immigrants. Like, they're literally destroying our country with socialism. Our country has been subverted by socialists. That's why all these problems, like, yeah, I'm sorry to say it, the United States, our biggest enemy, is still socialism and communism. Till this day.
But if you have more money in Americans' pockets, they can afford their own health care. See, if you get the government out of the transaction, then Americans have more money.
How does money going to Ukraine come back to American pockets if we cut the funding there?
So if government has $1 million and they spend $500,000 on
so damn dumb. You don't send the funding to Ukraine in the first place. You idiot.
foreign country, how much money do they have left?
Well, the government, I mean, they run deficits. You should know. Donald Trump had the
So
biggest
the answer,
deficits of all time. So
the
I mean,
answer
like,
is $500,000 versus what could have been $1 million. It's basic math. But it's funny, he now admits that we do pay for illegal
I'm sorry,
immigrants.
you said earlier
So
that the
thank you
rich
for
people
that.
are the ones who paid most of the taxes. So if
Which
the
they
government
do.
stops spending, then
Which
the
they
rich
do.
people are the ones keeping the money. Are they just going to give it to the poor people?
Which they do. The rich people do
this
pay the
is
most of the taxes.
mindset,
So
deranged socialist mindset. The evil rich people. They don't view the rich people, the billionaires that own these companies that employ 500 people, as a company that employs 500 people. They view it as this evil corporation who is ripping off their employees to exploit them for money. That's their view of the entire world. Is one person is the billionaires are oppressing the workers and exploiting them for their money. And it is it's the most deranged thought. It's caused so much problems in our country, man. Like, people hound on Elon Musk. Elon Musk paid the most taxes in a single year than any other United States citizen ever in history at one time. And people still are on his back. Oh, he's exploiting people. And he just, like, they want to make being a billionaire illegal because that's socialism. They want equity. They want everybody to live in a little box that's the same size and the same shape. And, everybody to have the same job, make the same amount of money. They want impossible things. Their worldview is like things that don't jive with reality.
small fact check here, because that's what now he has to admit that yes, we do pay for illegal immigrants, and we shouldn't pay for any. We shouldn't pay for a single illegal immigrant.
Sort of this growing rise in like social conservatism among Generation Z youths. And I sort of wonder, as a 22-year-old, where I see a future in the Democratic Party for me, as someone who kind of leans left economically, more probably left-wing economically, not leans left, but someone who's sort of like center-right socially. And I just don't really see a future right now. And so I'm kind of wondering, should the Democratic Party try and appeal to this growing rise in Gen Z voters? This is according to a Gallup poll and a Pew Research poll done in the last year. Should it try to appeal, or
They can't, because their vision is so flawed that you can't. If you have a socialist vision in your mind, like a literal communist vision of what America should be, then there is no appealing to us. There is none. I am a center-left Democrat. They lost my vote. They had it and lost it. And a lot of people feel that way. And I don't even think there's no coming back. Not with the current Democratic Party. Not with these spineless people that aren't willing to stand up to the radicals in their party. No, there is no appealing to us.
should just kind of leave us in the dust? Because
Or
the
Gen
Republican
Z, or any
Party,
of
I don't see a future where they start caring about Americans and funding single-payer health care and funding housing, unfortunately. But at the same time, I'm a bit unsatisfied with the Democratic Party's social turn. And so, yeah.
I think that the goal should be to tell all of your friends to vote for Kamala Harris so that the Democrats can win with the largest margin possible.
Dude is so
that we can
fried,
load
man. He would literally vote in fascism because he's so dumb.
all of the insane fucking college tankies and progressives up into a fucking Elon Musk spaceship and send them off to the fucking moon, okay?
Yeah, that's what he wants. That's what they want.
This is an issue that I talk about a lot. The far left of the party is fucking crazy, okay? That's like, nobody can deny that. I fought with the far
That's what
left,
we all
honestly,
telling
probably
you.
more than Owen has.
And the far left of the party runs the party.
When it comes to insane people, there's a reason why I'm banned from Twitch, and it's not conservative. It's because of crazy people on the far left. That being said, something that I think is good to keep in mind is the far left is politically non-existent. There are no far left lawmakers. Even people like AOC and Bernie Sanders now are called Israeli genocide supporters by the far left. All of the college kids have now abandoned, Ilan and Rashid.
Yeah, AOC and Iman, whatever, like they're admitted, and Bernie Sanders, they're admitted socialist. They're admitted communist. They shouldn't even be in office to begin with. Anybody who's an admitted socialist should never be able to be in United States office, in my opinion.
Like all of the Justice Dems and Bernie are all completely, off the table now. They're not radical enough for them. So I think that trying to win with the largest margin possible, so that on social media we can continue to ignore these people because that's the only place they exist, is important. But the radical element of the Republican Party is like 95% of the party. Okay.
See how
like,
dumb he
the
is?
last few
You guys are the radicals. We are normal Americans who want to put this country before other nations and immigrants and shit. You guys are way over here and you just are too dumb to realize it. We're the center, not you. Like, this is what drives me crazy about watching MSNBC and watching Joy Reid talk about the MAGA movement and the fascism behind it and the blah, blah, blah. Like, because she doesn't even know what fascism means. Like, if she knew what fascism means, she would look at her own party and go, oh my God, this is actually fascism. This is way closer to fascism than anything Donald Trump is doing. Look at what they're doing. Non-stop talk about his rhetoric. Non-stop character assassination, character attacks. Oh, well, I don't like his character. I don't like his tone, the way he says things. Like, because they have no policy to stand on whatsoever. Zero. Like, and it drives me crazy, but people like Joy Reid, she's literally almost retarded, and she gets on air telling the American people that the MAGA movement is dangerous and fascist and blah, blah, blah. The America First movement somehow is dangerous. You got people like T.I., a rapper, saying, make America great again? That is racist. Like, wait, what? How the fuck is that's how dumb these people are. They're out of their minds because of leftist, paradigms, leftist axioms have literally entrenched in the minds of American people to think that this country is evil, and that and they believe the lies about Donald Trump because they're too dumb to ever look into this shit like themselves to realize that everything MSNBC and CNN and all of them is telling you is lies. You know, they take an hour-long speech and take 3 sentences out of it and say, oh my God, look at Donald Trump's rhetoric, when there's no context. There's an hour of context to go with what he was saying. It's absolutely pathetic what they're doing. Like, this is like we've straight Game of Thrones level politics.
Of conservatives, probably Owen included, believe in satanic sex cults.
He really thinks that conservatives believe in sex cults or whatever the hell he just said. He just says stuff, man. He's a moron.
I think what's important for young people to understand is the broad difference between what the right wants to do politically and what the left wants to do politically.
Yeah,
you're going to have issues you agree with some leftists on, some conservatives on, and that'll probably go on the rest of your life. You're more of a centrist. But I think you need to understand what the core is of the modern day left, and this rings throughout history.
Right. You need to understand the visions. The current left has a deranged socialist vision of reality. The current right wants to bring back individual liberty, make this country free again. The socialist vision only operates if government continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. While they're lying to you and telling you that, the Republicans want to take away your rights and your reproductive rights and blah blah blah. Like, no, they are going to take away everything by the time this is done. If they don't get stopped, they're going to take away freedom of speech. They're going to shut down. Like, people like me aren't even going to be able to make a video like this criticizing the government. It'll get blocked by some new rule on YouTube. Like, it would get crazy if Kamala Harris wins. I guarantee. I would bet you $1 million that by the time the end of her 4 years is up, there's mass censorship going on. People are being thrown in jail for speech, ass backwards laws. Kids are being trans behind their parents' backs by some deranged school teacher that thinks, boys and girls are born in the wrong body sometimes. It's going to get wild. There's going to be no more women's sports because men are going to take over that. What needs to happen for you guys for people to realize what's happening? Look at the last Olympics. Look at every other country on the damn planet right now. Every other supposed democracy. Look at what's happening there. Look at Canada. Look at Europe. They've all been taken over by the radical left, and they've all got mass immigration, mass ignorance happening. Their workers are pissed off. Like white people are being demonized, religions being demonized. Exactly what's happening in these other countries is exactly what would happen in America if Kamala wins, if the Democrats win. It's exactly the same thing going to happen. You're going to have Muslim gangs running around stabbing white people, and the media is going to come on air and say Asian gangs appear to be stabbing people, like just like that. That's what's happening in Europe. There, and the media has to get on and say Asians because they don't want you to know the actual truth. It's sad that if you want real news and actual truth, you got to go to like Australian news organizations, or you got to go to like Talk TV, somebody that's actually willing to tell you the truth. And even then, they're only allowed to tell you what the truth by the official lie of the government. But in reality, they were Muslim Islamist gangs running around stabbing and beating up white people with clubs and shit. And then the media is not even allowed to say what really happened. That's what's going to happen here.
The American left, the Democrat Party, cannot exist without power. They need power. They want to tell you what kind of car you can drive. They need power to do that.
Yep.
And so that's where the left goes, where the right wing believes more in self-government. We want you to decide. So yeah, you might have to say, well, I guess if I believe an electronic car is better for the environment than a combustion engine, then I'm going to drive an electric powered car. But, you know, maybe my neighbor I think is a worse person because he doesn't drive one. That's the difference between self-government and the government deciding what you need to do. So they need power to do it, where the right wing believes in self-government. So I just think it's important to understand kind of the core principles. I want to address something you just said, you know, satanic cults. Again.
Oh no.
Are you going to deny that there was an Epstein Island? Are you going to deny these Diddy parties where they're having all these things?
Wait a second. How many photos was Kamala Harris in with Epstein?
No.
How many photos was Donald Trump in with Epstein?
Did you read?
See the silence?
Did
Crazy,
you read?
isn't it?
There's no silence. You just won't shut up. Did you read the WikiLeaks emails in 2016? Did you hear about Abramovich? Did you hear about the spirit cookings? Did you hear about the children in the hot tub for your entertainment? Did you read these emails? This is all public information.
Did you not watch the Olympics? It opened with a satanic cult. Like a woke, disgusting display of woke Christianity. It was despicable. Like, what are you talking about, dude? The left has gone insane, not the right.
In this room can go look at the WikiLeaks emails. The Democrat committee emails invite Marina Abramovich to spirit cookings, and they have children in the hot tub for your entertainment. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, go home, look it up. It's all public record. It's all real.
Wait, all of
so
that is
you
public
can
record?
laugh it
All
up.
of that is real? All of that is super true?
Yes.
Why didn't Donald Trump do anything about it?
I wish he would have.
So then why would you elect him again? He failed.
Because I vote
He fired
pragmatically,
Comey, he put in his
and
own
I
guy,
know
he
that this
fired his
country
AGs,
will be
he put
better.
in his own guys.
See, because yeah, it is. You're right. It's sad that Donald Trump is the best hope for this country. It's sad, but it's the reality we're facing.
You exist in a cult. I don't. I'm a
The guy
pragmatic
you're
voter.
advocating for is a fucking loser. He failed. Whereas Donald
He's a loser. This guy that is a multi-billionaire, built some of the biggest structures on the planet, had a successful TV show. He's been successful for 50 years. He's been famous for 50 years. He's a loser, though.
Trump said, we're going to tear up China and bring back manufacturing. Nothing happened. At least Biden got a bill passed and did something. Whereas Donald Trump said, we're going to do more for...
Did that Chips Out Act help you at all? Please tell me. If it helped you, leave it in the comments.
Infrastructure than we ever have. He did fuck all. At least Biden passed the infrastructure bill, right? When Donald Trump talks,
That's going
he
so
fails.
well.
How about the infrastructure bill? Did the infrastructure bill help you at all? No. I bet you, like my city, I bet you got massive warehouses built around your city. You don't even know they're there probably until you drive past it, that are sitting empty. For what reason? Massive warehouses, huge, big as entire neighborhoods, sitting empty for no reason at all. They've been sitting empty for 2 years. And some bureaucrat and the owner of that, warehouse probably got it built for free by the government. Yet he's going to make millions and millions of dollars off of it because he had some deal with the Biden administration.
What's
So,
going
hey,
so
so,
well?
hey.
The infrastructure bill? Yes, it is.
So
There's
through all
been
the
a ton of
battling,
money, more than ever
just
before,
if you-
allocated to
I
domestic
understand. It
construction
sounds
projects.
crazy, brother.
Into what?
Believe me.
I love Destiny. Look at my shirt, bro.
It's a great shirt. I'm sure he made some nice money off that shirt because he's a capitalist like everybody else. I'm just telling you, I would probably have thought I was crazy when I was your age too. But when you dig into this stuff and you realize your government is extremely corrupt, your mainstream media is extremely corrupt, most of the celebrities that we look up to are extremely corrupt.
Yep.
These are the ones that are telling you how to think. And so, yeah, I don't like.
Exactly. He's actually right, man. Like, this is what people like Joy Reid and these idiots like Destiny do not understand. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm just a normal, common sense, pragmatic voter. Like, I vote for whoever has the better vision for the country and the better policies. Yet, Joy Reid and Destiny, all these people, they want you to think that the regular silent majority of this country is actually far-right extremist. I didn't know the damn difference between the left and the right until like 2 years ago when our country started crumbling around me. Like, that's where these people are so deranged and wrong. These anchors of the MSNBC and CNN, like, they think that they are the majority. Go look on YouTube right now. There's thousands of deranged left-wing podcasts, straight communist podcasts that are uber successful. Uber successful. And if you watch their videos, you literally get dumber by watching their videos are horrible. Not even watchable. And the shit they say will literally make you dumber. But there's thousands of them. And they all got mad subscribers, like 200,000-300,000 subscribers. It's crazy, man. Like, and they all think that they're the majority. Like, no.
Why was Trump in a picture with Epstein? Why was he on the flight logs?
Donald
At
Trump.
Trump's clubs?
Yeah, Donald Trump. Epstein was at Trump's clubs trying
Well, we
to
know
recruit
he's got
young girls.
security cameras in there because we saw all the documents from the Mar-a-Lago thing. So what, was Donald Trump just sitting there jerking off to it the whole time? Or
No, he was cooperating with the FBI. He literally cooperated with the FBI. And when did Epstein get arrested?
The corrupt ass FBI that was directed by the Democratic Party to do everything in their power to take Trump down, to the point where they raided the sitting president of the United States house. Never happened before ever in history. That's just 100 precedents that have taken place since Donald Trump came down that escalator and announced that he was going to run as the Republican nominee.
With the FBI.
When did Epstein get arrested? Epstein got arrested. So now the Epstein thing is real. So see, now the Epstein thing is real. Now he has to accept that it's real, and now he's talking about it. Bill Clinton flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane dozens of times. Donald Trump did not. Donald Trump helped bring Jeffrey Epstein to jail and prison. He's the only president that did so. Donald Trump cooperated with the FBI when they were investigating Epstein recruiting young girls. And notice all the people that were friends with Epstein, all the people that went to Epstein Island, all hate Donald Trump.